International school fees. Wow, it seems I hit a nerve with the clip that I put out yesterday where I'm talking about what I call is the international school fee trap. And while everything may look rosy when you first come to Thailand, you think everything's so cheap. As soon as you decide to start having a family here, you realize the reality of how much it's going to cost you. And that's why I built this school fee calculator. Now, I stress again that this calculator was built out mainly just as a thought experiment by myself after speaking with my wife, and we're planning, okay, after my daughter leaves the international school that she's at right now, which is a wonderful little international school. There are many, many nationalities there. So it's not just Thai. You've got people from everywhere. She's developed real native English. So she doesn't have any noticeable accent there. It runs on the Reggio-like program. So it's not Montessori, but the kids really get to be themselves. So we really love this school. And our dilemma is that we've actually gone around and looked at other schools. We're looking at the school fees there and we're thinking, is what we're paying really worth it? So I built this calculator out. And so you may notice some differences from yesterday when I showed you. I've done a little bit of work on it, mainly thanks to some of the feedback that has come via YouTube and other channels. So first of all, somebody said, are there any boarding schools? And so, yes, there are. What I've done in my data set, I've added that in. And so if you say show only boarding schools and click that, you'll get only the ones with boarding facilities showing up here. And otherwise, you'll get the whole list of what I think there's almost 50 schools here right now. And these are international schools and bilingual schools. So this is a great tool for anybody just wanting to know the lay of the land when it comes to what your options are for international type schooling in Thailand. And the way that I've listed these here, by the way, I've put a thing in. So I've got a minimum and a maximum fees that are published. So the fees that you see here are not necessarily the exact fees for each one of these grades. What these schools usually have published to the internet would be a minimum and a maximum. So what I've done is taken the minimum and maximum and just spread it out from preschool, assuming the earliest years preschool will be the minimum and the most senior year is the maximum. And so you can see that there. So you'll notice here, so if I were at Shrewsbury International School, you can see, and I've put this graph in here, this is the lowest point here. So you can see preschool, 783,000. Now, I'm not sure if that actually goes down to that level for preschool, but this is their minimum fee. So if you were to run on that all the way up to year 12, which goes up to 1.156 million baht for the year, you'll see that it's been broken up here. So if I only want to see, say, high school from year 7, I can choose year 7 here up to year 12, and it will give me what the yearly breakdown estimates are. Now, these are not precise numbers, but they're just to give me an idea of what it may cost me. Let me choose another one. So if I go to, say, Bangkok Patana School. So here you've got the numbers for Bangkok Patana School. They range here from 680,000 from year 7. Actually, let's have a look to see if we had kindergarten there. So let's just say preschool. So the lowest fee they have there is 680,000 per year, and it goes all the way up to 1 million if it were year 12. And so here I'm doing preschool to year 12. How many ECAs? Supposing I want to do 3 ECAs on average, which is pretty normal. My daughter's doing 3 ECAs. I will include transport. So right now I've got that hard coded in at 80,000 baht a year and 60,000 for school meals. So I'll throw that in per year. That could be on the cheap end. It depends, but it's about right. Now I'm allowing for inflation. So here 2.5%. Some people came to me and said, oh, if this money were invested, where on earth are you going to get 10% back? Well, there are some funds, there are different indexes that you can look at that have gotten 10% back per annum. I've used 7% here as a sort of standard to start with, but you can make this whatever you want. The reason I put this investment return rate is I just wanted to do a mind game, a thought experiment that if I took this money rather than putting it into my daughter's education and I educated her myself, and I know that would have costs, but just as a thought experiment, if I invested that at say 7%, what would I get back? And so that's where we get these numbers here. So I've got right here, the one up top is your primary currency and the one down the bottom here is a secondary currency. And so you can actually choose if you want US dollars and say Australian dollars, you can do that there. And so now these are US dollars versus Australian dollars. But let me go back to Thai baht versus US dollars because I know many people will be familiar with those. And so what this calculator does is, first of all, based on meals and transport and the tuition fee and the cost here of registration and application fee and their ECAs, what would the overall education cost me? And this is from preschool to year 12, and that comes down to 15,530,000 baht, or 434,000 US dollars, or almost 435,000 US dollars, approximately. It's not exact, but it's giving you an idea. So my thought was, well, if each year, rather than paying the school fees, that was compounded at here 7%, and so that interest would be growing over time, what would it give me? Well, I would potentially yield 20 million from my 15 million investment, which means I would be getting a 5.2 million baht or $146,000 profit. I know it's kind of harsh talking about your daughter's education like that, but it's worth the thought. It's a great thought experiment, and it gets you wondering, what are you doing all of this for? Is it going to be worth it in the long run? Could I teach my daughter in different ways, get her social exposure in different ways, and then put that money towards other things that she could use in the future? And so I also wanted to play the mind game. So rather than university, say up to age 26, if rather than giving her this money at age 17, what if I kept rolling it over and investing at, say, that rate? What would it give her? And that would make her almost $1 million by the age of 26. Now, if we change this interest rate, if you can get something getting up to, say, 10%, look at that, $1.3 million if that were compounded. Yes, I know these are fictitious numbers, but this goes to show what could be possible. It's not play money. It's not a little bit of money. And what you've got down here is the tuition ECAs broken down for each year what it cost you, and each year what you could have been making if you had have invested that money. So the other changes that I've made here, of course, you've got this table here now that you can see the annual tuition fee curve. Well, the way that I've done it's not really a curve, it's a line. Also, you see this breakdown here. So I've got the name of the school, the location, the tuition fee range. So this is the minimum published fee, maximum published fee, and it will show it in whatever currency. So if I change this to euros as the major currency, this is all changed to euros now, and you can see euros up there. But the base currency is still Thai baht. Now, the last thing I wanted to show you that I've been making changes is basically I received many messages in yesterday. What about this school? What about that school? So now you can see a whole lot of different schools here. I've even got, say, the French school here. And so you can see what is the French school costing. The minimum fee there for preschool, 275,000 a year. That's baht, all the way up to 401,000 baht. So that's in the middle kind of range, middle to low range, you can see there. And so you can see an entire education would cost around 230,000 US dollars, or 8 million Thai baht. And this is the school that my kids 20 years ago went to. So my 21-year-old and 20-year-old, when they were kids, they went to this school. And so this is a Thai bilingual school. But you can see here too that it's actually not that cheap. The fees have really gone up. Back then they were around 30,000 a term. So yeah, I guess they're about the same. And so you can see that the full education there is around 121,000 or 4 million baht. So that's about half of what the French school cost. And again, we have the number one expensive school, Harrow. There are a couple of Harrows there, so maybe they've got different printed fees there. And KISS International came out from my data set as the second most expensive school there, followed by Shrewsbury. And you can see Shrewsbury there for a full education, almost $500,000 there from preschool through to year 12. I hope that this tool is useful to you. Again, all of these numbers that you see here are what I've been able to scrape and glean from the internet. So maybe if the schools are saying they're not our fees, well, send me the real fees and I'll plug them in so they can be shown here. But this is just a tool I built for myself. I've put it up here at crackinglanguage.com/school fees, because I didn't know where else to put it. It's where I hold all of my language tools. By the way, if you've got kids, get them playing around with this abacus here. You can teach them math, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the Japanese version or the Chinese version with the 2 beads up top. This is fantastic. I teach my daughter addition, subtraction. You can even do multiplication, division there. And if they're learning Thai, you can get them on this. So you've got the Thai alphabet. You've got Ko Kai, Ko Kai. Not only that, if you're coming from any of these language bases here, you can actually have your kids learn Thai through your own language. So if you're a Hindi speaker or a Korean speaker or a Chinese speaker, you can actually bypass English and learn the script straight from your own script. But anyway, your kids can play with that. They can practice writing the letters. Just click on that, and these tools are all totally free, so I hope they're useful to you. Likewise, with this school fee calculator, if there are any other features that you'd like to have put in there or any other schools, let me know. I'm thinking of putting overseas schools in there, and I'll have to make it more intuitive as far as the UI, UX, but let me know when I can build it out. I never planned on building this, but it turned out looking not too bad. And so let's see where this little side project goes. If you don't have a copy of Cracking Thai Fundamentals, Installing a Thai Operating System for Your Mind, click the link below for delivery within Thailand. Otherwise, get it on Amazon. I'm Stuart J. Raj. I'll see you on the other side.